Thank you for that warm welcoming, and welcome to Stockholm, Olivier and Luca. It's great having you here. You are legends, you know that. Fantastic honor for us to have you here in Stockholm, and for me to sit here on this stage and to be the first one to say congratulations to this well-deserved award. And actually, when I called you, Olivier, I had the privilege of being a part of the award group and jury, and they asked me to call you to inform you that you have received this award. You sounded surprised. How come such an ensemble like yours?
Well, good evening, everyone. You're right, I was surprised because, in fact, we never went in Stockholm to play in Stockholm. Or yes, we performed here, I don't know, something like 35 years ago, and I wondered how comes there is someone in Stockholm who knows Ensemble intercontemporain
Come on.
and wants to reward us. So yes, I was surprised and very happy, I must say.
Of course, and we are happy that you, Olivier, I forgot to say, is the chief executive of this wonderful ensemble. And Luca, you are quite new in the group, trumpet player since a couple of years back. How come? What was the most tempting part of applying for a job in this ensemble?
Yeah, since 2018, it's been 4 seasons already. Time flies. The ensemble for me has always been a great trumpet challenge, if I speak for myself, but also one of the leading group of contemporary music and innovation in our field. And it's always nourished me in my youth, the recordings, and also my teacher is now my colleague, and it's a tradition that's being it's been the tradition goes further.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. And Olivier, what would you say? What is the key value now of the ensemble? We know the legacy of Maestro Boulez and his ideas. And what would you say the ensemble is today?
I think the key word for the musicians is their commitment. How can I explain? Whatever the score is on their music stand, they do it, they perform it with their heart, with the best techniques and all their musicality and quality. And it can be something very written, I think very academic or very in an ancient style, or something very that you have to perform, maybe rather as an actor than as a musician, and they do it the same way, very well, excellent and very committed. Yes, this is the key word, I'd say, excellent and committed.
Oh, yeah, of course. But there is also, of course, for you as a musician, you have the group. I think you are like 31,
yeah,
or around 30 in the group. But how do you work normally? I mean, do you prefer to work in that large group? Because sometimes you also have commissions. You can be soloist, or you can have a chamber perspective. What is the favorite part for you?
Yeah, it's for me the favorite part, and I'm speaking on behalf of my 30 colleagues and also the colleagues that have allowed me to be here today, because it's been since 76, so almost 50 years now, and yeah, it's something to be said. But yeah, for me, it's the enjoyable thing is the whole cake. It's not just one piece of cake; it's the whole thing. And 1 week being a chamber music person, and then the other week being in front of the ensemble, and then in the same concert you can play in the ensemble but also in front of the ensemble, and it's this type of always challenging the boundaries of the comfort zone, and I think it's the mentality that's amongst all the musicians, and I find it a very healthy thing and a very inspiring thing.
How is the audition process for you? Like in the symphony orchestra, like ours, the Stockholm Philharmonicos? How do you do it?
It's a bit more specific. Just a bit more.
Yes. Tell us.
Well, first of all, I failed the first time. I was chosen for the third time. It's about 3 rounds on 2 days, and so a lot of music. It's about maybe 10 minutes in the first round, 30 minutes in the second round, and an hour. The finals is like a full recital where you show, first of all, your classical foundation, and also then the specificity just comes in after with the contemporary music repertoire. But it's basically to show which extreme you can take the horn, and you kind of go through all the techniques.
Because it's a fantastic idea. I mean, we envy you to have because I understand that you are funded by state money.
Yes.
It's fantastic. And the initiative came from, of course, Pierre, but also with support from the Ministry of Culture.
Yes, and the Ville de Paris, City of Paris, very little amount of money, but though. Yes, it's very helpful, but it is 2/3 of our budget. So we earn, let's say, 1/3 of our budget selling concerts and gathering sponsors to finance our activities. So yes, we are very lucky, and we are the only permanent musicians ensemble funded by the government, the state, French state. And the other ones are smaller in France, are smaller ensembles with, let's say, 6, 7 till 12 musicians, but non-permanent freelancers. So it's rather different because they are used to working all together, our musicians, like in an orchestra, but as soloists, they can prepare the program very quickly, either for chamber music or ensemble music and so on. So they are very efficient.
Yeah, but you've been truly inspiring for many parts of the world. For us here in Stockholm, we have excellent specialist ensembles also here, and we try to, of course, promote as much of the contemporary repertoire as possible. And that was one of the key factors for Pierre when he started. He felt a little bit that this music wasn't getting enough of attention when he started the group. A little bit, he wanted to promote it. Do you think, what is the status today of the contemporary music scene in the world, according to you?
What is the distinction? I didn't.
That when the group started, it was because of that Maestro Boulez felt that maybe the contemporary music wasn't given enough room in the concert programs and things like that.
Well, it's not that easy, I must say, to promote contemporary music in France, and I guess everywhere in the world. But I think when he started and when he founded the ensemble, it may have been easier because the politicians and the funders, the ones who give the money, were a bit more informed about music. And now it's sometimes a bit hard to speak with them and explain who we are, what we are doing, and why it's so useful and necessary to give us some money to make what we are mission to do. So
you're doing a great job there. You inspire us still with everything you.
Well, it's cool to have people like you. Well, we are not playing, but when you enter the stage and you see many people in the hall, then that's cool and it's a great pleasure. But sometimes you have to explain to the politicians that there are many people who likes what we are doing, and that's crazy, but that's us. And we use the presence of the audience to explain them why we are useful.
Yes.
That's that's a bit strange.
Yeah, we know a little bit of that, all of us, I think. But talking about the process of commissions and so on, composers and so on, how is that process? What kind of commissions do you do and kind of programming process? And maybe both of you can talk about that. But from your perspective as musicians, how much involved are you? How do you talk about the commissions? Can you say a few words?
Yeah, of course. I think Olivier will have a more general take on this, but from a musician's perspective, I think being part of the ensemble, being part of this 31 people organization means you have a voice, and it's not just a factory where everybody comes in, play, and then goes home. And I think it's always about the relationship. Of course, talent plays a huge role, but it's about the relationship you have with some people, and then where that can take us. If it's small pieces, if it's a solo piece, you can bring a project from a composer, who is willing to write for you. We have, for example, Jerome, our clarinetist, who is collaborating with an English composer, I think, right now, and he's bringing together a project, and that can be made, and it's open for new things, open for new ideas all the time, and for big pieces, it also comes from our chief conductor Matthias and Olivier, and Matthias couldn't be here today.
No.
I'm the replacement, but I think it's. It's how much are you willing to collaborate and do for the new music scene, because it's being created as you create it. So
And from your perspective, Olivier, Matthias couldn't be here. He was delayed, unfortunately, in the United States and couldn't come in time. He will be here tomorrow, though. I promise you, he will be here. But from because Pierre Boulez, he was never the music director of the group. He was the head, and then you select a leader, and a little bit of the relationship between the ensemble and the music director.
Yes. Well, he's the artistic director in a sense, and he's the one who conducts mainly the ensemble. And as for the commissions, we discuss, the both of us. He sometimes proposes some names. I sometimes propose some names.
Yes.
We discuss them, and we have a little group of musicians that we call the Collège des Solistes. There are 4, and we sometimes discuss with them. Also, we don't know these composers very well. Do you know him? We ask for scores and read them, or listen when it's not relevant to read, and decide. Mainly Matthias and I, but also when the musicians themselves propose names, we look into it, and yes, there are some projects with composer that the musicians proposed, definitely.
But are you going in different directions when you look into that you really want kind of specific idea of the music? And also one of the aspects for the group has been, I think, with the relationship with IRCAM, and new technique, and can you say a few words about that? How you?
Yes, yes, we go in many directions. I think this is a difference from the past. It's more open, and that's mainly thanks to Matthias. He's been with us since 10 years or so, and he opened the range of music we are playing now. And sometimes when he reads scores, when we have to discuss and decide who should commission, he says 2 contrary things. He says, well, that's very us, and we should commission something or play one of his piece or her piece, and then maybe commission something. And sometimes he says, that's definitely not us, we should try.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
And yes, or sometimes it's very written, complex, something you maybe is EIC, and sometimes you say, well, it's crazy, it's wild, we should try.
Yeah, good. He sounds like a very wise man, and I know him, of course, so he's a great guy.
Yes, he
a great
is.
leader and development. But for you, Luca, and for the musicians, the technique aspect, it has changed, of course, since the 70s and so on. And how do you look upon these new, because this world we live in gives a lot of possibilities and things like that. And how do you look upon these kind of elements besides playing your horn?
Yeah, I think it's evolved a lot. Also, if you consider that, one of our big repertoire pieces is Répond by Boulez, and it used to take a week to be installed with 5 semi trucks and aircam would come in, and now it's about 3 computers and 6 hours. I mean, even less, 3 hours. A bit more.
Yeah.
But it's it's not the same, and I think it goes the same way for us. We also have different. At the end of June, we always have 2 weeks of festival where we can collaborate with composers, and that's where we discuss some of those things, with young and also famous composers, and to see where the horn is what it is able to do, and what it also depends on the player, of course. Some players are capable of doing some things that other players are not, and it's interesting to see. And sometimes we try to create pieces that are fit exactly for us. Sometimes it's more on the general type, but it's interesting. You also learn along the way. Since I've been part of it, it's changing. It's always changing.
So this festival, you invite young composers and kind of seminars where you show the limits or the possibilities of the instruments. Is that what you?
Yeah, we have different events. We have we have a collaboration with the Paris Conservatory, and we work with young composers that are actually studying in the conservatory. We do, I think, two programs a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a festival to the last 2 weeks of June called Manifest, which is contemporary music festival all around Paris. And also working with young composers and especially on the collaborative side of it. And there's many opportunities to find those times to also if a composer calls, say, are you willing to do a session with me? I'd like to ask you a few questions. That's also our role. We're ambassadors of that, and it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, because I think also one of the key, what we are admiring, one of the things we are admiring with the group is that the comedy that we think that you have been trying to put forward, the legacy of the 20th century of music with what's written today, and is that the case still?
Yes, definitely. Well, for this festival, for example, there are 4 directions: normal concerts, let's say, and concerts shared with young musicians that are students elsewhere, but they are gathered for this session, and there is coaching by the EIC musicians, then side-by-side session, so even sectional rehearsals maybe. So they go very deep into the techniques of their instruments and playing together. And the 3rd and 4th directions are with the young composers. Let's say workshop. They begin to write on their own at home, 6 months before their concert, and then there is a first meeting, can be via Zoom nowadays, and then for 1 week they work with the EIC musicians, and the musicians help them give birth to their work, in fact, because they are young, then they don't know exactly how to do, but our musicians, they played, I don't know, 3,000, 4,000 new pieces since for quite 50 years now.
Yeah.
So they know how to give birth to work.
Of course.
And that's very beautiful to see, and to see how the musicians, the composer, I mean, react when their work is being played by the musicians.
Yeah. And I know that you're also involved. This is one part of, maybe should we call it your work with for younger, but you do work quite a lot with youth and children activities as well. And can you say a few words about that, Luca? What are you?
Yeah.
How do you work there?
With older composers, it's our role to set boundaries. But I think children don't have boundaries, and it's a very easy thing. Children respond to things. People, adults, qualified adults, have a more generally judgmental view on it. And we have different projects. We had, it can be. I remember 3-4 years ago we had a brass quintet concert, explaining with Clément Lebrun, who was the speaker, and he would explain the path of the music tradition from early on to today, and it was only a children's concert, and it was a really beautiful moment. But we also have, about 2 years ago, I think we did something on, I don't remember who, with, silhouettes and...
Yes.
I forget the composer.
Augustin Brault, this one?
No, it was not Augustin Brault. It was something else. But we
Yeah,
have different projects along the way, and we invite also different classrooms of children, listening to rehearsals. They can sometimes sit. We have one child seated next to every musician, and have that collaboration, and it's always a pleasure.
And we did something with the very young children, which is different. This is in fact a piece of Luciano Berio, who was performed only once in 1984 in London. It's titled Twice Upon.
Yeah.
And it's for 60 children who don't know how to play the music and possibly don't know the music at all. Plus 6-7 musicians leading them. So there is one musician with a group of 10 children, and the same for the second musician, and so on. Plus a musician conducting them and organizing all this. So you have 70 people on stage, but mainly children.
Good.
And that was very beautiful to see how they were happy.
Yeah, they were happy, of course. Yes.
And they were playing at, we did it twice, at Philharmonie de Paris. So they played at Philharmonie de Paris, very, let's say, classical music with Ensemble intercontemporain, and they were proud.
Yeah, of course. Yes, of course, they should be. Yeah, of course. But then most of the things you're touring, of course, internationally, but also in France and in Europe. But in Paris, your Cité de la Musique has been a center there. Yes, your base. So.
Yes, that's our base. We're in residence at Cité de la Musique, Philharmonie de Paris.
Yeah, so as a unit.
So we do there 20, let's say, concerts each season. It's rather 12, 13 conducted concerts that can be ensemble music, concertos, mixed with one piece of chamber music in the conducted concert, plus full chamber music concerts, let's say 5, and 2, 3, 4, I forgot some things, educational project or some things with the children. And we like to mix conducting music and chamber music, as Luca said, because it's more diverse for the audience, to have one musician on stage and the full orchestra, well, 31 musicians, then quartet, then possibly a concerto with one of the soloists they just seen playing the tutti part. And once again, that's very beautiful to see the musician coming from the front of the stage to the orchestra or the way back. We like it, and everyone likes it.
Yeah, of course. It sounds like great fun. I understand why you apply for the orchestra. It sounds like great fun. But if you look on the scene for contemporary music in the world and globally, and look at someone like me running a concert hall and a symphonic orchestra, are we doing a bad job when it comes to contemporary music?
Sure.
Yeah.
What can I say else?
Yes, of course. No, but tell me a little bit. Is it? I mean, how do you look upon? Are we too conservative in a way, or is it a danger in a way that we have? Well, that the new music can be over there, and we play this, and occasionally 10 minutes of a new piece. That's what we bring. But tell me honestly.
Well, first you've chosen a very good conductor with Ryan Bancroft, who likes contemporary music, new music. He likes to discover. We had the first session with him 2 months ago, and it was great. So you're lucky people to have it. So probably he will propose some new music to you and your orchestra. And yes, I think at the minimum or well, let's say the classical big symphonic orchestra should propose one piece at the minimum for each concert. And you know, I'm sure you heard some people attending the concert say at the intermission or at the end of the concert, I was coming for the Bruckner, Mahler, Strauss, I don't know. Yeah. And I was very surprised with the Boulez or new piece by, I don't know, someone of Sweden or elsewhere. And in fact, I liked it better than Mahler. Yeah. Sometimes you have good surprise, and that's like a restaurant. That's Matthias that says that he likes to compare the ensemble, and maybe for the orchestra is also relevant, with a restaurant. You don't know what you will eat when you enter the restaurant, but you know, if you have well chosen, that it will be good. Yeah. So do not hesitate to propose contemporary new music, fresh music, and sure, if the musicians are very involved and committed, sure the audience will like it.
No, it's true. No, I heard it many times actually. I came for Brahms, but I left with a new commission in my heart. That's something. So I agree with you there. But how do you look upon the future now then for the ensemble? You didn't hear it in the film here, but we gave you a very nice kind of line there. The Stradivarius within modern music. That's you. That's a good line. That's a good line to put in. But so you really impressed us with what you're doing, inspired so many to go forward. But from where you are now, where are you heading? Where are you going in your ideas?
That's what is cool with new music. You don't know what you will hear. In the end, you commission a composer a new piece, and well, you choose him or her because you liked his previous pieces, but you have a surprise. So I can't say where we are going, because it's always new, and that's what we like. We like the way the composers share their visions of the world musically, even with no words. Obviously, it's not an opera or a song or I don't know, but they write their music in their style because this is their vision of the world, and it's what we are aiming for the future, to share the same values with some composers and commission them new pieces, and we'll be happy with that.
Oh,
sure.
Fantastic. And for you, can you reveal any of your favorite composers that you would like to see commissions coming from, or do you have something that you can reveal already, new things that are planned that we might hear with the orchestra?
Yeah, I'd love to see people like Unsuk Chin. That's just to cite one, but more women also. That's always something that we support strongly.
Yeah. Can you say a few more words? I didn't want to ask the question because it's of course very important topic.
Yes.
But can you say a few words how you work with that?
Well, we're trying to get more women composers. I think in the past that wasn't done, and it's it's a specific world, contemporary music, and it's been quite there's more and more women coming, but it's still quite from my perspective, maybe I'm wrong, but it's been quite tough to find really prominent composers. But people like Sacha Blondeau and I'm forgetting many. There's many more to cite, but they are, and it's important. It's important to Olga Neuwirth, that she's a big one, and who recently won the Siemens Prize, for which we're playing in 2 weeks in Munich.
Yeah.
And
so you will be there?
We will be there in Munich in 2 weeks.
And we are dedicating the entire festival to her in November. So it's
but it's projects from people like her, and which have been important. And I must add also that contemporary music for an ensemble is. Matthias would have said that better, but it's a bit different than for a full orchestra. It's different projects. It's I think both are able to work together. It's not just contemporary music is reserved to us or it's reserved to a full orchestra. I think it's just different setups and different probably way of curating the material and the techniques.
No, there's a good the moment now after this years that we have had now. It's a kind of, at least I think that it's a kind of possibility for new start, to be brave and to move forward to the future. And I guess also you work a lot closely to the conservatoires and things like that. Are you working with the students of compositions? You mentioned a little bit about that.
Yes, we have 3 different ways of collaborating with the conservatoire. The young, well, it's quite the same as for IRCAM. There's 2 sessions with the new composers, very young composers, and we like these sessions because it's a good way to reveal new talents. We discovered Joanne Magranet-Figuera there, Florent Caron-Darras, Bastien David, and 3 of them, for example, are rising composers in France. Yeah. We have a collaboration with the conducting class. They conduct the ensemble for 2 days, and that's not very easy for them, and the musicians sometimes are a bit tough with them, like every orchestra in the world, so it's a good school for them. And we have 2 big sessions, so big symphonic orchestras, gathering 80 students from the conservatoire, plus 15 musicians of Ensemble intercontemporain, the same way, coaching, sectional rehearsals, normal rehearsals side by side, and then concert at Philharmonie Paris, Cité de la Musique.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
That's fantastic. And among the last questions here, do you know Iggy Pop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Any
don't play his
collaborations there?
Not yet, but
No.
I must say we don't play his music so often, but maybe it's a good way to start.
Yes, you can start tomorrow when you meet. No, that is one of the fantastic things we think with this prize, that it goes over the boundaries, and the meetings are fantastic in this way, and so because it goes for great achievements in what you have done, and do you know the composers and things that has been awarded previously in the Polar Music Prize? I can read it to you. Vitor Lutoslavsky
yes.
got the prize in 1993, and Pierre Boulez in 1996, and Yanis Xenakis in 1999. We got Karl-Heinz Stockhausen in 2001, and Sofia Gobaidullina in 2002, George Ligeti in 2004, Steve Reich in 2007, the Kronos Quartet we need to add for here in 2011, and then Kaya Saria in 2013. And now it's you. So I say congratulations once again, and we look forward to celebrate you enormously tomorrow. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.